This is Eat, Sleep, Boxing, Repeat. Delighted to be joined by Danny. This is a fight breakdown / prediction video for Natasha Jonas and Mary Eve Dicaire ahead of the November the 12th Sky Sports Boxer show in Manchester. For anyone who isn't a Sky Sports customer, please click the link in the description and you can purchase a day pass to which you can use to watch the fight if you'd like. It's going to be, it's a good card. We're going to be discussing one of the undercard fights in another video. Danny, how are you? How are you feeling about this card coming up?
All good, mate. Thanks for asking. Looking forward to it. As you say, it's quite a good card. Obviously, right on my doorstep as well, so can't complain with that regard. But looking forward to it. Looking forward to chatting about it with yourself.
Good stuff. So this fight is the main event. Natasha Jonas, Mary Eve Dicaire, IBF, WBC, WBO super welterweight world titles. So there's a lot on the line. Obviously Jonas became champion not too long ago, and then unified the division in her next fight. She's now doing that again, and fighting for three of the four belts that are available in the division. We're just going to kind of quickly talk on kind of how each fighter wins and getting your prediction as well, Danny. Haven't looked at any betting odds as well. Don't know who's kind of the favorite in this fight. But just going to kick things off. Mary Eve Dicaire, her record's 18-1. That one loss comes to the GOAT herself, Clarissa Shields. I imagine knowledge about her will be fairly limited in this country. However, she is a world champion. She does not have a bad record at all. From what most people will be able to tell about her profile, and her last fight was actually a win via stoppage. From the research you've done, what would you be able to tell us about Dicaire?
I think Dicaire will definitely be the toughest fight that Jonas has had since moving up to 154. Obviously, Chris Namus, who she won the WBO, I think it was, against Dicaire's beat quite clearly, judging by the scoring of the fight and then whatever footage is available. And I think she'll be a tougher opponent than Berricolt as well. She's listed as 5'7" and BoxRec, and Jonas is 5'8", but I think that's way off. I watched bits of the Clarissa Shields fight. She was comfortably taller than Clarissa Shields, and if Natasha Jonas is 5'8", then I must be 6 foot, which unfortunately is not the case. So she'll have physical advantages over Jonas. As I say, big height and reach advantage. You mentioned the stoppage in her last fight. I watched that fight. Well, I watched bits of that fight. That opponent was, horrendous, and it was a sort of like mercy stoppage from the ref. She was just getting it wasn't as if she could have seen the distance, but she was just getting hit, at will by Dicaire. So I don't think she'll have the power to trouble Jonas. But I think this is a tough fight for Jonas, honestly. I assume 90% of people watching this, I wasn't familiar with Dicaire going into it, but sort of a bit surprised by the research, and I sort of found myself thinking, you take that Clarissa Shields fight aside, Natasha is very, very talented fighter, but Clarissa Shields, she isn't. So no, I think this is a very live opponent in there with Jonas.
And do you think this is a tougher fight for Jonas than Berkout was? I think the Berkout fight, I don't know. I think maybe some people expected it to be more competitive. Jonas arguably won every round. You're expecting this to be a tougher fight?
I think so. Definitely. I think she looks a lot bigger at the weight, judging by the eye test, than Berkout. You've not heard of a great deal of Dicaire's opponents, but Berkout, I don't think she'd even fought out of Denmark before getting into Jonas, where there are some recognisable names on Dicaire's record, even Emma Kozin, who Savannah Marshall, but she beat her quite wide in the scorecard. So no, I think Dicaire's live in here, I've got to be honest.
Yeah, no, good stuff. And I know this is kind of sometimes a tricky thing to do, but obviously, the people in the arena will want Jonas to win. I think she's very popular. I think, yes, as you mentioned, she's a fantastic fighter. How do you think Natasha Jonas wins this fight?
Well, another thing about Dicaire is she's got quite good feet as well. She's quite good on the back foot. So I think Jonas is, I wouldn't want to say a weakness, but she's got very fast hands, but I don't think her feet are quite as fast. Obviously, you've got to expect that at 38. So I think she's quite a good body puncher, Jonas. So sort of getting to the body quite early, maybe slowing down those feet of Dicaire. So in the sort of mid to late round, she's sort of there to be hit for those quick combos that we sort of know Jonas for. She's going to have a big speed advantage. She probably have a bit of a power advantage too. I think she's looked quite spiteful since moving up 154. I mean, one thing you'd have to say about Bergholt, she was incredibly tough in there. I mean, I was ringside for it, and so after 3, 4, 5 rounds, you were sort of thinking maybe Jonas could stop her. Obviously, stop Namus in really convincing fashion. So I think she's got the power to maybe not stop Dicaire, but certainly to slow her down, and then she'll be able to get her shots off and pull clear down the stretch if she is able to sort of slow those feet down, take away that range as well. But I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that necessarily she will do that. As I say, definitely not a walkover.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, and credit where credit's due, from Natasha Jonas to not be a world champion to be a world champion with 3 of the belts, having picked them up in 3 different fights in the space of a few months would be a big achievement. Just to round things off, Danny, give us your official prediction for this fight. Who wins and how?
I think you do have to favour Jonas. On an incredible run, has probably looked as good as ever up at 154. Granted, maybe not facing the level of opposition she was in her earlier career. Obviously, the home fighter, sort of getting the push from Sky and Boxer in a sense, maybe looking towards an undisputed fight, Terry Harper, if that could possibly be made. But as I say, definitely don't think she'll have it all her own way in there. I mean, as you said, the odds are yet to come out, so from that point of view, potentially could be value back in Dicaire, but you'd be a brave man to just go and flat out picking her. But I'm not looking forward to the fight. But gun to my head, I would say Jonas should be able to find a way to take away those physical advantages that I mentioned and get enough done down the stretch potentially.
Great stuff. And yeah, as you mentioned there, kind of a huge, massive fight for the winner potentially in 2023. Danny, yes, been great to talk to you. November 12th, Natasha Jonas against Mary Dicaire, live on Sky Sports. Once again, please click the link in the description if you would like to purchase some sort of day pass for this fight. Please do tune in. Danny, thank you for your time. I will speak to you soon. Okay.
No problem, mate. Thanks very much.